So 17.9 is what we will do today, and 17.8 and 17.7, they both have a specific adjustment, which we will be able to cover in 17.9. So once we are done with the ninth question, eighth and seventh question are going to be covered within that, within this discussion, ninth question key. So we are going to go through the question first, and then we will see we will make notes on the question and then we will start. I'll solve ninth question. You'll do the 10th question abhi isi class mein. So Jimmy and King are in partnerships. They run a mobile servicing firm and they share profits and losses in 2-to-1 ratio. Their office secretary, Linda, expresses to become a part of the partnership as her grandfather passed away, blah, 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 and she has some inheritance. Okay. So the terms and conditions on Linda's admission would be that Linda is going to bring in $31,500 of cash, out of which $25,000 will be invested as her capital, and $6,500 will be transferred to her current account balance, right? So her total capital would be 31,500. Out of that, 6,500 we will take away and put it in the current account. The new profit loss sharing ratio after Linda's admission will be 2/5, 2/5, and 1/5, right? And Linda's admission, we will have some revaluations happening here in note number 3. So we are going to make a revaluation account for that. And goodwill is also valued at $25,800, and we will write it off immediately on Linda's admission. We know inherent goodwill, the preferred treatment is to write it off. And after Linda's admission, all the partners have agreed to adjust their capital account balances in addition to the current account balances in their profit loss sharing ratio. So this is the adjustment on which question number 7 and 8 are based. So when we solve note number 5, so we will be solving question 7 and 8 by ourselves. We are given the financial position. I'll discuss the note number 5 in the end because this is going to happen in the end. Sorry about the background noise. There's a lot of noise. Construction is going on. Wonder when that's going to complete. So after Linda's admission, the capital needs to be adjusted in a specific ratio, in their profit loss ratio. So अगर किसी partner ने ज़्यादा capital होगा वो withdraw कर लेगा, अगर किसी का कम होगा तो वो contribute करके उसको restore करेगा. How we do this is going to happen in the end once the structural changes have finished and every change is in place. Then we are going to come to note number 5 and solve it. So before Linda's admission, Jimmy and King's statement of financial position is given as follows. So we will quickly scan through the statement of financial position just to make sure कोई existing goodwill तो नहीं है. So you can see non-current asset section does not have any previous goodwill. So this is a standard question, no tricks involved here. Every other thing in the statement of financial position is the same, nothing unusual about current assets, nothing unusual about equity. However, as Alina Wakas has previously identified, we do have current accounts this time. But remember, current accounts have something to do with your appropriation accounts and end of the year income statement. So structural changes में current account का कोई बहुत major role होता नहीं है. However, when we have current accounts, we are going to show these current accounts as a normal part of equity in the statement of financial position later on. Current liabilities, we have just trade payables, no accrued expenses or anything of sort. There are no non-current liabilities, and that is it. We are required to prepare a revaluation account, a partner's capital account, and a statement of financial position after Linda's admission is complete. So we have standard requirements. So how do we start this? We will start according to what is required. We will make a revaluation account quickly. This is 17.9, NM 17.9. So we will have our revaluation account, part A, revaluation account. So our revaluations are happening For land and buildings. Land and buildings previous value is $40,000, and these have been revalued upwards by $12,000. So that means they are revalued at $52,000, and that is going to be a gain. So land and buildings are going to be on the credit side by $12,000, right? That's your gain. So just like always, the credit side takes care of the gains, the debit side takes care of the losses on revaluation. So for land and building, we have a gain on revaluation. For motor vehicles, these are valued downwards by $3,000. So that is your loss here. So motor vehicles, $3,000 downwards revaluation here. Then you have inventory is also written down to 13,000. So be careful about these expressions, by and to. So in this case, inventory is written down to 13,000 from 14,100. So that gives you a loss of $1,100. So that is what we will put on the debit side of the revaluation account. And then you have provision for doubtful debts agreed at $400. And in the existing statement of financial position against your trade receivables, there is no previous provision for doubtful debts. So we could say that existing provision for doubtful debts is 0, and now it is increasing from 0 to 400. So there's a loss of provision for doubtful debts, $400. Provision for doubtful debts, $400. And that is it. So we will quickly find the gain or loss on revaluation. I think there will be a gain on revaluation, which is how much? Could you calculate it? Anyone? 12,000 minus $7,500 of gain. So $7,500 of gain is going to be transferred to your capital accounts. अब मसला ये है कि कौन से वाले capital accounts पे हम transfer करेंगे? We are going to transfer only to Jimmy and King, right? Revaluation belongs to the old firm's owners, and they will distribute the gain or loss of revaluation in their old ratio, which is given to us as 2 to 1. So 2/3 and 1/3, that is what we are going to transfer from revaluation account to capital account. So while you calculate the ratios, I will quickly make the capital account. Right. So we have Jimmy, King, and Linda. Jimmy, King, and Linda. So Jimmy, King, and Linda. Yes, anyone? What are the ratios here? 5,000 for Jimmy. Okay, 5,000 for Jimmy and 2,500 for King. And we will place them here on the credit side, 5,000 and 2,500. And their existing balances are $60,000 and $30,000. Linda is yet to join, right? So up to this point, any issues? If you don't have anyone, then please raise your hand. No issues, then raise your hand, please. Amal, you get it? Okay, ठीक है. Now you can lower your hands. अब आप खुद ही lower करें क्योंकि मैं record कर रहा हूँ, so I'll be juggling with too many things. So once you give your feedback, then after a minute, lower your hands. So next part is goodwill. So goodwill is going to be treated on the credit side of the revaluation account. We don't have, we can, if you want to make a goodwill account, you can as a part of workings, and you should always make a goodwill account if there is a previous goodwill within the statement of financial position. However, in this question, we don't have any previous goodwill, so we can just simply do the capital entries because that would be a straightforward situation. So goodwill is going to be treated as a gain for the old firm owners in their old ratio. So could you calculate that? 25,800 ka 2/3 and 1/3. Yeah, anyone? 8,600 for Jimmy and 4,300 must be for King, right? And then we are going to write off goodwill on the debit side of the capital accounts. And that is going to happen in the new ratio being 2/5, 2/5, and 1/5, right? Please do your own calculations ताकि अगर हम गलती कर रहे हो तो हम यहीं पे उनको ठीक कर लें. So everyone should do their own calculations. 17,200 for Jimmy, okay, and 8,600 for King. Oh, I see. Acha. 8,600 for King and 17,200 for Jimmy. Good, thank you. Okay, now let's write off goodwill in the new ratio. 2/5, 2/5, and 1/5. Yep. $10,320 for Jimmy and King, and 5,160 for, yeah, 5,160 for Linda. Thank you. Right, good. So goodwill is done, revaluation's done. We have to just simply admit Linda now. Linda is bringing her $31,500 of capital. So cash or bank on the credit side, $31,500, and out of that, something is going to be transferred to her current account. That would be done on the debit side, and the transfer to current account is going to be 6,500. Okay, so if we agree with Linda's admission entries, then please raise your hand. Linda spring total amount Linda brings in is 31,500. Out of that, 25,000 belongs to her capital, and the remainder goes to her current account, and that's how we will show it, right? Alternatively, we could just simply put $25,000 over here, and current account transfer could be ignored. But I suggest maximum possible breakdown of information should be given. Amal, nahi samajh aaya beta? All right. Okay, lower your hands now. Now, moving on, the note 5. जो note number 5 हमारे पास रह गया है. Note 5 is that after Linda's admission, all the partners have agreed to adjust their capital account balances to the profit and loss sharing ratio by contributing or withdrawing cash as appropriate after all the entries related to Linda's admission has completed. Right. How do we do this part? We are going to show a little working, and that little working is going to be based on what if note number 5 did not exist. So if note 5 did not exist, then we simply would have balanced the accounts and we would have calculated the carried down balance in the capital accounts here, right? And if we had done that, then whatever capital account balances we find here, those capital accounts are not going to be in the ratio of their profit loss proportion. So we cannot put those carried down balances over here. So first of all, we will find out what could have been their theoretical balances. So I am going to show a working here. Workings, right? Working one way. We will find out what's their existing balance, existing capital कितने, right? Existing capital values for the three partners वो कितनी, right? So could you just calculate those values? Do not write them down, just tell me what is the existing capital value, as in based on this current situation of the capital account, Jimmy का capital कितना बनता है at, if we consider only these entries as you can see on your screen, right? So Jimmy, King, Linda, right? According to the current situation, we will see that what is their existing capital right now. So if you can find it out, don't write it down, just tell me. 11,880 for 11,000? Yeah. Are you sure? For Jimmy, it can't be 11,000. $60,000 का तो उसका capital ही है सिर्फ. Can you please recheck, Alina? Can you please recheck? $60,000 to Jimmy का starting capital है, right? Yeah. 71,000 for Jay. So $71,880 for Jimmy, right? Okay, what about King and Linda? $30,780 for King, 30780 for King. And what about Linda? $19,840, right? Okay, and what's the total capital here? Total of all the three. $122,500. All right, 122,500. Now that is the existing state of affairs. That Jimmy has $71,880 of capital. King and Linda have their respective capitals based on what we already have in the capital accounts. But these are not the capital accounts which are required by the partnership deed. जो नई partnership deed बनने वाली है, उसके अंदर partners ने agree किया है that their capital should reflect their profit loss sharing ratio. So the required capital total should remain the same as 122,500. However, the required capital has to be based on 2/5, 2/5, and 1/5 of their existing capital. So total capital. So 122,500 का 2/5 कितना बनता है? Right? That is what we need here. So the total capital stays 122,500, and 2/5 of that should be Jimmy's capital. So yes, Asma, thank you. 49,000 for Jimmy's capital, and 49,000 should be King's capital. And what about Linda? 24,500. So now we know what their capital values should be. So Jimmy has way too much capital invested in the business than he's supposed to have. So now we are going to adjust. So how much capital Jimmy ka capital should reduce, right? So by what value should it reduce? Currently, Jimmy has 71,880 as his capital, but his capital should be $49,000 according to the new partnership deed. So $22,880 is what Jimmy should withdraw from the business. So the capital should come down. And if it should come down, you agree that the capital account should be debited. For King's capital is 30,780. Existing capital, current capital is 30,780, but he is required to maintain at 49,000. So he has to bring in his capital. He has to increase his capital by 18,220. And that would mean that he needs to, uske capital account ko credit hona chahiye by investing more cash. And Linda's capital is also lower than what she should have. So Linda should bring in more capital by how much? $4,660, right? And then it should balance out at nil. So अगर 22,880 minus करें और 18,820 और 4,660 को आप add करें तो net resultant value should be zero, right? Since we are just playing around with the same total capitals, different proportions, so the net answer has to be zero, right? Does it match zero? You can always verify that your calculations are correct. Does it match? $22,880 से capital कम होगा और 18,820 और 4,660 से capital increase करेगा, then it should remember. Okay, so do you agree with what I have written here? Debit होगा Jimmy का capital और King और Linda की capitals credit होने चाहिए with this amount. Please raise your hand if you understand the double entry interpretation of these arrows, right? Right. Okay, excellent. Take care. Lower your hands. And how do we debit or credit? Basically, how do they increase their capital or decrease their capital? The one who has more capital invested will withdraw cash, 22,880. And the ones who have lower capitals compared to what they should, they will contribute more cash in the business to bring their capital up to their required mark. So that is what we will do here now. 22,880 Jimmy के capital में debit side पर आ जाएगा, right? Capitals decrease on the debit side and increase on the credit side. Jimmy के capital में 2280. Basically, Jimmy will withdraw this amount from the bank account, and Linda and King are going to bring in more capital, 18,820 for King and 4,660 more for Linda. And after we have done these adjustments, okay, पहले फिर से मुझे छोटा सा feedback दे दो. We understand this and this based on the workings. A hand raise here, right? Right, Amal? All right. So now when we balance the capital accounts,
Sir,
yeah,
it's going to be 18,220 for King, not 820.
18,220. Okay, thank you so much. 18,220 here as well as here. 18,220, 18,220. ठीक है, एक बार रीचेक कर लें फिर से. अभी रीचेक वैसे खुद ही हो जाएगा automatically, because if our calculations are correct, then our balance carried downs in the capital account should be equal to the required capital, 49,000, 49,000, and 24,500. So let's see if we can manage to get the same values. यहाँ पे 49,000 होना चाहिए, or 49,000 and 24,500. So please verify that you are getting 49,000, 49,000, and 24,500 as their capitals. And if your capital balances, they reconcile with the required capital, then you will raise your hand once you have calculated these. अभी ऑटोमेटिकली वो चेक इसका हो जाएगा कि हमारा ठीक आ रहा है. सो Alina Sayed's verified. Alina, 49,000, 49,000, and 24,500 are the balancing figures in our capital accounts. That's the closing balance. And these are the values which will now go to the new partnership deed, right? So जो नई partnership deed बनेगी is new firm की, उसमें the partners are going to mention these capital accounts, and now these capital accounts will become fixed for the foreseeable future until a new structural change comes along, right? Awesome. Okay, lower your hands now. Now we are done with part A and B. Partners capital accounts are done, revaluation account is done. Part C is where we have to make the statement of financial position. And statement of financial position may, the only thing which will working one, मैंने लिखा नहीं यहाँ पे, ये working one है, working one. The only other thing which will cause problem now is the bank or cash and bank account, because you can see there are just too many transactions happening in cash and bank, right? So it's always a good idea that even if the examiners don't ask you, you should always have the bank account made, cash or bank account, right? The balance brought down is given in the starting balance sheet, which is 10,700, and then Linda brings in capital, $31,500, right? And then the final adjustments, capital Jimmy will be 22,880, right? जो capital उसने contribute करना था, capital decrease करेगा तो bank account भी decrease करेगा, right? And then these two are going to be on the debit side because they are increasing their capital by investing more in the business. So King and Linda are going to bring in 18,220 and 4,660, and that is going to give us the updated balance of the bank account. So can you calculate the updated balance? अब पहले आप मुझे बता दें कि अगर आपको बैंक अकाउंट के अंदर कोई issues हैं. We understand all the entries of the bank account. Raise your hand. On the debit side, asset increases. On the credit side, asset decreases, right? Yes, Amal, you get it? Alina Sayed, बैंक अकाउंट आपको समझ आया हमने कैसे बैंक अकाउंट की डबल एंट्रीज कंप्लीट की, right? The balance brought down comes from the existing balance sheet, and the rest are the double entries completed from capital accounts, right? Okay. Now, what is the closing balance of a bank, cash or bank account? The balance carried down for cash and bank account is how much? $4,220. So this is going to go to the statement of financial position. So now I want you to complete the statement of financial position, land and buildings, vehicles, trade receivables, and closing inventory. They are all going to change because there were revaluation adjustment against these values. Capitals for the three partners are going to be 49,000, 49,000, and 24,500 as the carried down balance of the capital. current account remains unchanged for Jimmy and King. However, there will be a new current account for Linda.
Excuse me, sir.
जी बेटा.
Sir, it's 42,200.
42,200. Oh, sorry. ठीक है.
Because the total of the debit side is 65,080.
Right. Okay. Good. Good. ठीक है. 42,200. Yeah. Whatever. You will put that 42,200 as the revised balance sheet, revised amount of the bank in the balance sheet. And let's see if the balance sheet balances quickly. Let's not take more than 5 minutes because it's 5 minutes task now. Let's start. All right, Marine has just joined us. Marine, I am recording the lesson, so I will upload it afterwards. So you should watch it. हम 9th question कर रहे हैं इस वक्त. Question number 9. So if you get your balance sheet balanced with the revised values, then raise your hand afterwards. Remember to change the values of assets which have undergone a revaluation and put the revised amount of cash and bank balance in the current assets. And don't forget Linda's current account. Linda ने current account में 5,000 ट्रांसफर किया था, तो वो भी current account section पे आ जाएगा equity में. Right, Irina Vakas? If we have current accounts, we will show current accounts as a part of equity. Lina and Amna. Amna got the balance sheet balanced. Excellent. Right. Let's wait for your friends. I'm going to pause the recording for now ताकि मेरे disk space कम use हो. Once we are done, we will start the next part and then I'm going to resume the recording. So we have quite a few balance sheets now balanced. Let's wait for Alina and Amna and Amal. Take your time, don't rush. Lena Sayed's got it. Amal's got as well. So we are all done with the balance sheets. Balance sheet. So 17.10 is going to be your home assignment. So that would be your homework. However, 17.10 has goodwill already existing in the trial balance. Instead of this balance sheet given to you like in ninth question, you're given the trial, no, you are also given the balance sheet, not the trial balance. Okay, let me erase the annotations first here. There are just too many. Okay, so in the 10th question is exactly the same as ninth question. The only thing different is uh, that the goodwill is already there in the balance sheet, $10,000. That means on a prior change, some structural change in the past, $10,000 of goodwill was not written off. So what do we have for goodwill in the adjustments? The goodwill is valued at $30,000 and it is to be written off. Sorry. So goodwill is valued at $30,000 and goodwill account is not to be retained in the books. So before we call off today's lesson, I want you to make a goodwill account. Remember, every time we have goodwill existing in the books already, it's always a good idea to make a goodwill account as a working and show the adjustments in the goodwill T account. If I were to do this situation, I will make 17.10 KLA as a working. I will make a goodwill account and I will start off with the balance brought down of $10,000. Right now, पहले जितना टाइम हमारे पास कम है, जितना टाइम है उसमें हम पहले गुडविल की एडजस्टमेंट्स आप करेंगे. जब आप कर चुके होंगे तो फिर आप अपना हैंड रेज करेंगे. देन आई विल कंप्लीट दिस अकाउंट एंड यू विल कंपेयर योर वर्क विद the goodwill account that I will complete later on. Okay, let's begin. And once you are done with your goodwill account, then raise your hand. Okay, let's start. Just in case, read through the question as well. Maybe there is something related to goodwill treatment given separately. Remember, the question doesn't ask for a goodwill account, but you should always make these four accounts, चाहे वो मांगे हो या ना मांगे हो. आपको हमेशा revaluation account बनाना चाहिए कि revaluations हो रही हैं. Number one, you should always make capital accounts to show all the adjustments. अगर मांगा हुआ है fine, अगर नहीं मांगा हुआ then as a part of your workings. Number three, cash or bank account. Just like in the previous question, we saw there are so many adjustments in the cash or bank account. So to be on the safe side, you should always make cash and bank account every time there's a structural account, structural changes. And fourthly, goodwill account. Goodwill account, अगर आपको goodwill पहले से exist कर रही है तो फिर उसकी adjustments थोड़ी different होंगी compared to if there was no goodwill account in existence before. So these are the four accounts that you should always make, whether you are required to make those as a part of your answer or not. If these are required, then show them as a part of your answer. If not, then show them as a part of your workings. All right. So once you have completed your goodwill account working, then raise your hand. Then I will fill in this. Asma is done. Asma, let's wait for your friends. Alina Vakas is also finished. Alina and Asma, you carry on with your with the rest of the question, because in any case you have to submit your work as an assignment. So while we wait for others to finish, we can continue with revaluation account maybe. Again, the revaluation account is not required by the question, just the capital account needed. However, you must always make revaluation account, because capital account cannot be completed unless there is a gain or loss on revaluation incorporated there. Mine is done, right? Good. Maheen, carry on with the revaluation as well. Amna Kashif is done. Amna Kashif. Okay, Hadia and Amal. Once you're done, raise your hands. Then I will fill in the goodwill account. Amal is also finished, and Hadia as well. All right, so let me just quickly go through it. So since goodwill has been valued at $30,000, so we are only going to debit goodwill by $20,000, and that is going to be spread between capital of Andrew and Bevan. Charlie has nothing to do with this gain. However, goodwill will be written off at $30,000. So capital A and B, that is their 60%. I think 60 to 40 ratio बनती है old firm की, है ना? Because the old firm's owners are sharing their cap. So I think this will be 12,000 and 8,000 if I'm not mistaken mathematically here, because 60,000 and 40,000 is their old ratio, and in the old firm you were sharing profits and losses in the ratio of capitals, and in the new firm 1/6 is the share of the new partner. So this is going to be split between capital Andrew, Bevan, and Charlie. Charlie's being 1/6, and the other ones are 1/3 and 1/2. 1/3 would be 10,000, and 1/2 would be 15,000, and 1/6 would be 5,000, right? So that's how goodwill is going to be settled among the partners, right? So if your answer matches with my answer, or if there is a problem, please identify. Raise your hand if you're good to go, right? All right, Asma, we have different answers, Hadia. Asma and Hadia. Asma's got it. Hadia. All right. Okay, so now you complete 17.10, just like 17.9. There's nothing different about it now. The only difference was goodwill treatment, and we have sorted it out now. So you can send your work. मैं भी post कर दूंगा class के बाद, so you can send your work later on. So today's lesson is finished. You can stay back if you need to discuss anything further. Otherwise, you can leave now. Allah Hafiz bete. See you. Thank you. Thank you. Khuda Hafiz.